Picture that perfect sunset, the lush golden wheat field brushing against your legs, the skyline of South Bend in the distance, a football game at Purdue, the hotshot train hauling behind you. From the rolling fields to the industrial heartland of the Northwest, Indiana brings a wide variety of audiences. Today I'll tell you about some great cities, my favorite places, and the rails and roads that brought me there. Welcome to Northern Indiana. It's easy to get lost in the old back roads and the badly maintained state highways. That's why one time I actually drove myself into a steel mill. There's the smell of coke burning, the sound of gravel crunching underneath my feet, the sight of steam coming out of multiple smokestacks at once. It all adds up to why cities like South Bend, Fort Wayne, and Lafayette were built. Some are better than others, but they all come with a great deal of exploring to complete. With the different towns came different cultures. Small towns would always have my heart. Waterloo was one of those places, a town of a mere 3,000, home to one of my favorite shots for rail fanning. I was later brought to Kokomo for my first Drum Corps International show. It was really funny how the entire town was drawn to a small college campus just to watch a band. My real second home was Angola. My family lived there for a time. So many great memories were made there, but those are for me to keep. I couldn't have gotten to these places without my friends on the rails. On whatever line I was on, I would study it. All the history, whatever I could find, I just milked out whatever Wikipedia page I was on. My personal favorite was the New York Central and later Conrail Chicago line. 506 miles from Buffalo, New York to Whiting, Indiana. This line was definitely my favorite, knowing that someday I might actually end up in the terminal of Elkhart. Built for the Northern Indiana and Chicago Railroad in 1851 and 52, much of the mark is now gone, with a lot of the rail being as old as 2010, and better signals, finer embankments on the curves, tighter security. It's hard to explore much of that now. In my opinion, Indiana is an underrated state. A lot of people hate on it for a lot of things, but I get that. But I just love the great cities, great places, magnificent structures, and of course my favorite rails. Since my family moved away, it's hard to find time to go back. Where do I go back home? Because the sunset just set. I go back home to Northern Indiana.